This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. A lot of talk about Joe Flacco's debut. I think there was some good, a little bit of bad, and some things that do concern me going forward, but mostly good stuff from Joe Flacco in his debut. So let's jump into the film room and break it down. All right, we're going to start here with Joe. And the way I want to evaluate this is, one, what looks like a positive step for the offense overall, regardless of if it's Joe or DTR, since we're still in kind of flux with that whole situation. And what can be carried over from Joe to DTR? What do they both do well? What does one do better than the other? What does Joe do better than him? This, that, the third. Just kind of have a complete overview of the quarterback situation for the Browns, which I believe is much better than it was a couple weeks ago, because either way you slice it up, the combination of Joe Flacco and DTR is better than going into a game with PJ Walker. No disrespect to PJ. I know a lot of people have gotten comfortable disrespecting PJ, but we know what his limitations are, and we know what his use was. He was a guy who could be the backup for not for Lamar Jackson, for Deshaun Watson, because they had similar styles of play. But if he's out for the year, you got to play a different way. Joe Flacco, DTR, that's where you want to go, and that's a much better way to go about the quarterback position, if that's going to be the case, if you're going to be dealing with injuries. So let's get into it. First play here, Aaron Donald destroys. Look at 99 here. This is unfortunate, right? Because what this is basically a toss sweep here. You get the seal here. You have Wyatt Teller coming around here. You know that he's going to pick him, which leaves one-on-one on the outside with this linebacker. So if he makes a play there, that could be like a 8-9 yard chunk, but Aaron Donald turns this into a negative 2-yard play because he just completely destroys Ethan Posick. Now, the reason he's able to destroy Ethan Posick is because Ethan Posick is dropping down on him. So instead of a straight up block, since you're pulling Wyatt Teller, you need somebody to fill in that gap. Aaron Donald reads it and splits it and just gets upfield. Does a good job of that. That's why he's still Aaron Donald. All right, this play right here, I thought this was his best throw of the day. He makes this deep post to Amari Cooper on time, on the money. Really good throw here. Again, this is the route he's trying to hit. A little deep post action. Basically, there's a little window here because you see cover 2. You know that your safeties are going to be here, and that you're going to have either him follow all the way up, or maybe somebody else shades, goes deep middle, deep third. Not deep middle, deep third. It goes shallow and covers it flat. So you know, okay, if this is the leverage that if this is the defense they're in, I have leverage right here. You gotta get this out on time, in stride, and he does. You see right here, right? Plays that outside technique. It ends up turning into cover 3, right? So John Johnson, the shell is too high, right? That's what they're showing. They're showing a too high shell. But what ends up happening is John Johnson goes down. He carries, slide over, carry. If you're getting that slide over carry, which means he has to cover some room because of the shell, you know that, okay, you have this window right here to fit the ball in. That's exactly what happens, right? Boom. Knows he has that window. On time, makes a throw. Good stuff. We can see it here from the reverse angle. You see what he sees here, right? The second he sees John Johnson, right? This is how you could tell how he read the play. He sees John Johnson right here. The second he sees John Johnson drop down, he knows, okay, they're in 3. Right? He sees John Johnson drops down. He knows, I got to get rid of that. Boom. Good throw. Good recognition. Good job there by Joe. This is a great job just IDing a coverage bust. Again, he's just going to be watching John Johnson here. So watch John Johnson here. Again, what they're showing is a too high shell. You can tell it's a too high shell. because imagine there's a line here. You see that these corners are actually not too high shell. My bad. This is a 4 shell. My bad, because none of these corners are near the line of scrimmage. So 4 shell. They're showing cover 4. Let's see the play. All right, so they're showing 4. And I believe they're either running 6 or 2. Either way, what happens here is that John Johnson gets lost here, right? So John Johnson decides to get kind of nosy, get his nose in there. You can see he's playing proper technique. I do believe this is 6 because this looks like 2, and this looks like it should have been played like 4. So one of these 2 messed up. It's hard to tell which one. Maybe there was a slide or a push call. But basically, he follows. Joe Flacco knows, okay, there's nobody here for this back flat. Makes a good job, good read, good throw. Again, this is a coverage bust, kind of similar to what you were doing on the last play. Well, just taking advantage of what the defense is giving you, basically, right? So good play call, good throw. All right, this play right here, it's where you start to, get into some of the things where you wish you had a little bit more mobility at the position. So this is a situation where nobody's open, right? Let's go back to the show, right? So it's too high shell. You think you got man coverage, right? Because you're seeing tight, right? So you have a trip set here. It's too high. You're probably seeing if one of these 2 guys can get open. Usually it's this guy that you're seeing open. Let's see what the route concept was. So David stays in the block. It's actually not man. It's coverage. It's zone coverage. And you just have nothing here, right? Nothing's really open. You can't throw it to a Coop because he literally has no space and isn't looking at the ball. This, because he's running into this window, is a no-go. And this is a bad throw if you try to make it because you're trying to fit that ball in between a triangle of defenders. That's just not what you want to do because one tip ball could lead to an interception there. Honestly, the best result here could have been like just trying to scramble. It's Joe Flacco. He's not going to scramble. This is where you miss having a little bit of mobility, even like not even talking about like 4.55 like DTR runs or 4.6 like Deshaun runs, which would have been nice here. But just the ability to have some kind of mobility similar to a Jacoby Brissett where you can run this and not risk this throw because it's just dangerous. Because there is a little bit of a lane here that opens up for you just to be able to run it on. And just to get maybe you get the first down, maybe you don't, but you don't risk creating a huge negative play like this. And that's just a huge negative play opportunity waiting to happen. Let's go back and look at the throw. Because the throw's not bad. It's just you would rather not be in a situation where you feel like you got to make that throw because there's no other option, right? Yeah, the throw's not bad. It's a little off there. It's just the coverage, right? So the throw is a little bit over here, but the coverage, John Johnson walls that off pretty good. And again, 3 defenders. He has an opportunity to tip that ball. He has an opportunity to tip that ball. And if that ball gets tipped, he has an opportunity to catch it. You just don't want to do that over the middle of the field. It's just too dangerous. Luckily, it wasn't a disaster. He comes back here, throws an absolute rope on a separate possession. This is just a rope right here to Harrison Bryant. Right on him. Good stuff. Little bit of a dangerous throw, but still just a nice ball. This is the top. He sees the back of that linebacker, puts it right on him. Great throw. Now, there are some tendencies with Joe Flacco that just aren't going to change, right? Joe Flacco is Joe Flacco. He's always been Joe Flacco. He has a body of work out there that tells you there's some things good that he can do, there's some things bad. One of the things that he's going to do a lot is he's going to default to that check down real quick. This is one of those situations. He gets here, throws that check down almost immediately. It gets ran up. Didn't have to do that. The play that they're running here is for Elijah Moore. They have Elijah Moore in motion. What they're trying to do is get this leverage with Elijah Moore that you're going to see pops up here, right? So Elijah Moore, right here, boom, you got the leverage you want. So what they're trying to do is put this linebacker in conflict. Either he stays shallow to stop David Njoku in this stick that they're running. My bad. So either he stays shallow to stop this stick. I'm having a horrible time drawing this stick route for whatever reason today. All right. So either he stays there to throw this stick, right? Or he plays back to eliminate what is this post that they have coming over it. He stays shallow. That means you get the leverage you want. You can make that throw. It's a pretty easy throw to make to Elijah Moore, and you can see him doing something with that after the catch. You get to him accurately. Instead, he defaults way too quickly to this screen, and this is just a terrible decision because look at this. Crash, crash, crash. Gotta stick with it. Gotta let it develop. There's not much pressure here, right? Look at that. Pocket's clean. You have more time than you thought. Just not a great rep here for Joe. Right? You get the leverage you want on 50 with Elijah Moore. You get the look that you need. This is what the play was ran for. It's why Elijah Moore is in motion before the play. This is exactly what you were trying to get. You see what you wanted to get pre-snap. I just don't know why he defaulted to the check down so quickly. You know, this is doing exactly what the play design is asking you to do. It's there, right? This is the leverage you want. You end up throwing this, but you get the depth that you need here. There's no safety over middle. This is a throw that you should try to make. Or at least you would like to see him attempt. All right, was this one right here? Oh, yeah, this one was weird too. All right, so I'll let it play, and then I'll tell you why I think it's weird. You see what the shell is? Ends up being quarters. Okay, this one's weird to me for a number of reasons. Now, the Browns end up having both what? Cedric Tillman and Amari Cooper run these deep, what looks like nines. Like, I just don't think Tillman runs a great route here, but these both look like nines, right? Maybe they're a little bit sluggo because there's a little bit of a pivot here on both routes where they pop in and out. So maybe it's supposed to be a slant and go. It's not really a convincing one by either receiver. They're basically running. My bad. Yeah, they're basically running this. All right. Now, it's an identical look on both sides. This looks like quarters, right? Quarter, 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 quarter. What you're trying to do here is split the quarter and take advantage of leverage, right? Now, what ends up happening on the play is that on Coop's side, so if you look at Coop's side, you get what you want. And that's the side he's supposed to be looking at. And then Coop makes that step, and then boom, right here's where you get what you want. This is what you want to see. If you're going to throw this ball, this is what you want to see, right? Because they're playing this, they're worried about the sluggo, the slant, right? You see the hips, he's worried about the slant. So Coop knows if I just give him that inside foot, I got him. Joe Flacco's looking at this. He sees the body language by the corner. I don't know why he doesn't take it, right? This is what you want. You want hips open towards you. That looks like a corner that's ready to jump on the slant to not get beat in the middle. But he comes off of that, and then he goes on to Cedric Tillman, who you don't see anything of what you want to see for. Now, let's keep watching Coop. Let's keep watching Coop here. You see the corner keeps drifting over middle two. You get him flat-footed. He just takes that foot and then boom, he's gone. You got a chance to complete that. Now, if I look over at Cedric Tillman, you don't really see the same thing. The corner does a good job of staying on top of the route. And then the corner opens his hips up actually the opposite way. He reads this correctly. He goes, okay, this is not a slant. I'm going to open up my hips the opposite way. So I don't see why. The only explanation I can see on why he came off of Coop to throw this one was he saw this safety hugging the seam and thought he would get a one-on-one down the numbers with Tillman. But if that's the case, then the ball has to be at the numbers. The ball ends up being on the seam. So I don't think that that's the reason. That's the only thing I can look at and be like, hey, that's why he took that shot. Man. Again, like you're going to see Coop get spaced there, but the ball's in the air, so it's not really fair. It would have been a contested catch. It would have been a tough catch, but right here is where you see what you want. And you have to think if Joe Flacco just gets rid of that ball right there, you have a chance to beat John Johnson to that corner and make that throw. But this throw to Tillman, I just don't see how that's successful. So look where it ends up. Ends up all the way at the hash. I mean, he's lucky that wasn't intercepted. I don't get that decision there. And this might be Joe Flacco just being older. The more questionable throws are the deep balls for him in this game. Short, intermediate, he's fine, but the deep ball stuff, it's inconsistent. And I think my best bet, because Joe's a veteran, he knows that's not where that ball needs to go. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that. My best bet is that this ball just kind of drifted on him. He can't drive it like he used to. Or at least he didn't drive that one like he used to. And I think there's evidence that he just can't drive it like that anymore. You look at most of his deep balls in this game, they drift. All right. So deep ball stuff that might be a concern for him going forward. This is, I thought, a great throw here, right? Again, the intermediate stuff, I think Joe Flacco still has it, though. Opposite seam, throws it on the other side of the field, gets that thing on time with zip and accuracy. He still has that intermediate stuff. It's another great throw here. Again, the intermediate stuff. Under 30, he's good at that. He's still good at that. It's nice. This one here, again, a little bit quick on the check down. It's funny because we say the same thing with DTR all the time. It's like, hey, man, sometimes he just defaults to the check down when he doesn't have to. Yeah, this is the default to the check down. I know what he thought he saw, but you end up losing yards here. Right. And you can see what I could point out here, right? If you just stay in the pocket, well, not even just stay in the pocket, you get literally what you want here. You get this window, hold it for a couple extra seconds. Maybe Harrison Bryant can turn it into like 7 right there. But instead, you throw this check down to to Kareem Hunt almost immediately. And they get to that pretty easy. They know that book is out on Joe Flacco, right? Where he's going to default to that check down or default to that deep ball. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, this is a play where you miss mobility, right? Because, again, he has to throw the ball. This is another play where you miss mobility. He has to throw the ball here. And this is, if there's a choice to make, this is the choice to make. We've seen like all the Browns quarterbacks make this throw. And he did a good job of getting that ball where it needs to. Coop just doesn't catch it. But it's a more difficult throw than you want for 5 yards to be. Again, you get the leverage you want. It should have really been caught by Coop. But also, that's the only option that you have. If you had a little bit more mobility at the position, you could have just ran that. You see that wide open lane there, you could have just ran that. That's why I don't love not having somebody with a little bit of mobility in there, especially on third down, because you just limit your options when you throw the ball, or when you can only throw the ball. Now, if they're Tom Brady or one of the best quarterbacks of all time, it ends up not mattering. But for most other guys, it does. This is a great adjustment to the ball from Moore. And this is another thing where I'm like, look at the deep ball here. Again, it got completed, so there's no complaints here. But the deep ball here, you see where Moore's at, and like that could be a touchdown. And again, like I'm happy that the ball is completed. But I'm just making a larger point about what's going on with the deep balls here. But you can see he's probably trying to get this on top of Elijah Moore, but the ball kind of drifts over that way because, again, that's a touchdown if Moore gets catching in stride. Instead, Moore makes a great play on the ball here because you see it just drifts over. Makes a great play on the ball, gets his butt cheek in. Great play there. Deep ball does fall a little bit. You know, he's just not able to drive it deep downfield like that anymore. Still a good adjustment to the ball by Elijah Moore. Yeah, but this ball just kind of fades off on him. Great adjustment. And it's a good adjustment and way to get his body in there because, like, if Elijah Moore doesn't make that catch, then I think we're looking at this game a lot differently. Because that would have been a huge missed opportunity. Good thing you got something out of it. Right here, I don't know if this was where the play was supposed to be because his eyes never got there, but you got good leverage here with Moore backside. So basically, you have 97 in coverage, and you're running this backside dig on him. I would love if a veteran like Joe Flacco can get his eyes back on this concept because he's ran this concept before. He knows it's there. You know, it's nothing that the Browns are running. It's going to be new to Joe Flacco. He's been in the league for a very long time. So, you know, if he gets his eyes backside, make that throw because it's there. You got the leverage that you want there. Instead, you end up throwing this ball out of bounds. Could have been a first down there to Elijah Moore. Put you in the range to score. Instead, you have to kick a field goal. See his play right here. Is this? Yeah, got to get the ball to David and stick. He throws his thing to Elijah Moore. He's covered. And it's not the greatest ball in the world. And you just don't want to throw to it. There's just not a good decision here. You want to get this ball to David and stick. This is what this play is designed for. Now, I know it's shorter the sticks here, but if you get the ball to David right here as he turns around, he has a chance to turn that into a big play because he can break that first tackle. He's done it all season. Got it. There's like 2 or 3 times where he just didn't get the ball to David and stick. And it's just like, get the ball to David and stick. Stop messing around with all the other bullshit. Get the ball to David and stick. That's the best option. Yep. If you get that off coverage on David, throw it to him and stick. It shouldn't be that complicated. So, you know, just get that ball to David. That's just something he's going to learn playing here, right? I expect him this week, if he plays against Jacksonville, to get the ball to David and stick. That's a personnel thing that takes a little bit of adjustment. All right. A few nice throws in a row here. I guess the top is drop throws on the run. Nice to see this. Again, the intermediate stuff from Joe Flacco, pretty good in this game. Another one. I believe this is another play action boot here. No, this is a regular play action. Nice ball here. Boom. Same thing goes here. Right, nice little ball here. This is a little intermediate throw. About, again, under that 25-yard marker, under that 30 to 25-yard marker. He's pretty good at making those throws. This play right here is where you would love some mobility, especially in the red zone. Because what ends up here is that they have this covered, right? They do a great job picking that up. Great job in zone, picking that up. David Njoku picked that up. Maybe you can, I think the one throw you could make here is probably David Njoku. If you give him just a chance to layer that and throw it up, you might be able to hit David there. That could be an option. But David's had his drop problems in the red zone, so you don't think that's a guarantee. But also running here would have been a fine option too. If you could step up, be a threat to run here, that might also pull one of these players out of position. So like it might pull that linebacker right there out of position if you had a run threat at quarterback, which would have opened up David. So there are some cons to not having mobility at the quarterback position. This is one of them, where it just kind of congests things in the red zone and takes away options that you might have had, and you end up trying to throw this. But you see how that safety's just not even concerned about what's going to go on in the middle of the field. He's not even trying to like hug the goal line a little bit so he can make a play if the quarterback runs. And that kind of blows your leverage here on this play to David, where you could have had it there too. This is a nice run by Kareem up the middle for 10. This drive that they made here to get the game close to tied up, I thought, again, it's a good throw, intermediate. I thought that Kareem and Pierre really did a great job on this drive. Look at this run here by Pierre, not Kareem, Pierre. Even though that'd be a good running back. If you could combine Pierre Strong and Kareem Hunt, that'd be a great running back, actually. But again, Pierre Strong right here. Great run here to set this up in the scoring range. And all you have to do to score this football is the basics, right? All you got to do is a little play action, a little toss, beat him on that side. Great play call, great touchdown. Now here is probably Joe Flacco's worst play of the game. This is a inexcusable interception. This is one of the worst interceptions that you could throw here. Again, the score is 19-20. Browns just got a 3-and-out. First time the defense played complementary football with the offense. You want to get points here, right, to take the lead. First play, you drop back here, and you just take this deep shot. And again, it's been the story of all of the deep balls. I think intermediate, Joe Flacco is fine, but those deep balls left something to be desired. Because look where this ball ends up, and versus where the wide receiver is anticipating this ball goes, right? Because this wide receiver is anticipating this ball goes somewhere on that angle where he does have a chance to make that play. But instead, this ball floats all the way again towards the seam. It just seems like he can't drive that deep ball like he used to. It turns into a giant back-breaking interception. But hey, they score a touchdown. You're only down 8. You got a couple chances here to kind of get this game back tied. Right here, again, you just got to hit David Njoku on that stick, right? You get to the top, find David, let David make a play here. You see it right here? David's wide open. Just get it to David. Let him run after catch. He's going to make a play. You had a big opportunity to make a play here, but instead, you fell in love with the deep shot again after throwing an interception. It's a bit concerning, right? And it's not a terrible ball, but just throwing to David there would have been a much simpler answer. Instead, it's a little bit off. It doesn't get caught. And then this one right here, would love some mobility here to see if somebody could roll out, maybe get to this edge and run for it. But there's just nothing here on this one. Like, your best throw is to David Njoku right there, but you missed your opportunity because your best opportunity was the last play, right? They got that covered. Yeah, opportunities missed. So that's my thoughts on the debut of Joe Flacco. I think there are some good things. He's good intermediate. This is why I don't see that much of a difference between him and DTR, because he's not really pushing the ball downfield as much as it would seem. And the deep ball accuracy is still something to be desired with him. But the intermediate stuff, still a really good job doing that. Hopefully he could clean up some of the deep ball stuff. Maybe the deep ball drifting on him is age. Maybe it's rust. We'll see against Jacksonville. But some questionable decisions in there, but some really good decisions in there. I think as far as backup quarterback situations can go, if you're the Browns, you have to be pretty happy, because this is about as good as you can hope for, right? This is about as good as a backup quarterback situation as you can hope for at the end of the year here. So if you're the Browns, this is where you're at. I feel fine with either DTR or Joe Flacco because of what I've seen in the last 3 games of tape from both of these quarterbacks. Don't really think that there's a decision that's going to change drastically what you try to do on offense. I think they both play similar styles, both throw the ball to similar places, both have similar struggles at this point in their career. So that's my thoughts on it. Y'all let me know what you think. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.